What's up, everybody? It's Kevin here from Happy Beard Games, and today we're doing something completely different than I've ever done before. I know I say that sometimes, but this is something I've never done before. Filming in a public location, like a store and what's not. I've never done that before. I've done it at conventions, here and there, but not at an actual, like, store, you know? What I'm gonna be starting now is a few videos about game hunting and toy collectible hunting, you know, kind of nerdy stuff that I like to go to the store and pick up. We are going to jump in with my first game hunting video, and also keep in mind this is my first video, and also keep in mind that when I go back to this Goodwill, it'll have completely different stuff, probably next month or in a couple weeks. It'll have a different inventory, and you never know what you're gonna get at Goodwill. Alright guys, now we're walking into the Goodwill of Warrenton, Oregon. Just going through the front doors here. I apologize for the shaky cam on some of these walking sequences, but it's the best I can do. And the reason I'm doing narration in post is because there's a lot of people there. I'm not sure. Maybe sometimes I'll do narration like when I'm actually there. But there was a lot of people there, as you might see. So we're walking over here. Now this section right here is where they have movies, CDs, music, and video games. And we're looking at this VHS shelf. Now, this is kind of recent. Like, this year they started doing VHS tapes at this Goodwill. They don't sell VCRs, which is weird, because they started selling VHS tapes. And so these tapes are on this shelf right here, mostly. There's some on the other shelf where the DVDs are. But it's mostly just this stack here. And these are, like, the tall box plastic ones, like the Disney ones. Usually they're for, like, the kids' movies have, like, plastic cases. It's usually like that. Not always, but most of the time. So here's some movies that are real gems. Like, I don't know about Swan Princess, but that Beauty and the Beast is like the Christmas special. This is a good movie here, Galaxy Quest, and I didn't really want to buy it, but I just thought I'd look at it because it was the best movie I could find there. And it's kind of like a Star Trek movie. If you like Star Trek, it's kind of like a parody, comedy version of Star Trek with some great actors and actresses. And speaking of Star Trek, here comes one that I probably should have picked this one up. But I do have it on Laserdisc, so there's no point in getting it for a collectible, really, I guess. But Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home, one of my favorite movies, and one that I consider one of the best Star Trek movies ever made. It's really a good one if you want to watch a Star Trek movie. And then here's a classic that everyone knows and loves, Rick and Bebe and Christy. I don't know, I think it's a glorified home movie. I don't know what that is and why they're even selling it. It probably doesn't even have a UPC code. Really weird. And then here's one that I watched as a kid, The Amazing Panda Adventure, that I completely forgot about until I saw that VHS tape, so I brought back a little bit of memory. Now down here is the complete other side of the shelf where the movie VHS tapes were. And this is a part where, I know it's books, but these are big books. This is actually where they usually keep, on the very bottom shelf, video game strategy guides. I've got like the Witcher 3 Collector's Edition here at the same shelf. I also got a couple other ones. I've seen some Zelda ones, I've seen some Pokemon ones, and as we'll see later in the video, there actually is a Pokemon strategy guide that I found somewhere else. But here is just like a WWE guide, and there's nothing else interesting to me. There was that Lego Star Wars book, but not too interesting to me enough to buy. Now here's all that are DVDs, and I looked through them briefly, but I'm not really that into DVDs, you know? Not really currently, unless it's something rare or like anime or something. So here's all the video games. Most of them are Xbox 360 and Wii, you know, Xbox 360 Connect games like Zumba Dance Party stuff. You got Connect Sports. Yeah, not looking good. Dance Central 2. I heard that game was kind of cool, and I do like DDR, but Cabela Big Game Hunter. For the Wii, that was probably the best choice to get for the Wii on here. Tony Hawk Ride, I considered that, but I think you actually have to have like the skateboard controller, so yeah, we get that Tony Hawk. On the other bookshelf where the hardcover books were, hardback books, they had Enter the Matrix for the PlayStation 2, and I had just seen a review of this by Some Call Me Johnny, and I think that was who did it, but it was about this game, and this game looks pretty bad, actually. Like, it's weird. The Matrix is a great movie, very profound, very thoughtful and deep, and it's a great movie, action movie as well, but seems like everything aside from the Animatrix, everything other sequels, all the games of the Matrix are just mediocre. I don't know, it's weird. It's really disappointing. I haven't seen the third Matrix though, or even half the second one. So now we're going down the hall. We're gonna check out these bundle of wires. Now this is actually, like, it looks like a mess, but they're all wrapped up, so it's not that hard to find things. Not as hard as you would think. And here's a 3DS AC adapter for 3DS systems. That's pretty cool to have, especially when some of them don't even come with it, but that was $5. I already had a few of those. And there's a Wii, the composite cable for the Wii, so it's standard definition. I already have the HD ones for Wii, so I don't need that. So here's another one, standard definition for the original Xbox. I already got one of those, but I also have like HD for Xbox, so I don't need that either. And those wires, sometimes you can find some really cool stuff. I always check them for like those multi-console ones. I always try to find those kind of things. I used to have one that I got from Goodwill that broke, and it was Dreamcast, PlayStation, and Xbox, or PlayStation, Dreamcast, and Nintendo. It was great. It was a really great one. It had S-Video on it too. But yeah, so here's a weird Xbox controller I've never seen that is actually a wireless Xbox controller, I think for the original Xbox. Kind of looks like the Duke. And there's some PlayStation 2 controllers, DualShock 2, and the Xbox original S controller, so it's the smaller version, not the Duke. Here's a Wii AC adapter for the Wii console. And there's some more Wii stuff coming up. This is like a, I don't even know what it was, so I looked at it. It's in a bag. I think it was like a cable box, really weird. There's another one of those composite, Nintendo Wii video cables. Here's another one that looked like the Duke, but it's by like Intech or something. I don't know. It's kind of cool looking how it's clear green, but it's not that. I don't know. I'd rather get a first party Xbox controller. And there's another Xbox original S controller with a different price tag. And here's original Nintendo Wii white nunchuck. There's a power adapter. I thought it might have been for the PS2 Slim. That'd be cool, but it's actually for a Dell laptop, I think. Dell something. Here's a neat one. I almost got this one, but I think it was a little too much for me. But it's, I don't know how rare that is. It's the red Wii nunchuck. Official Nintendo red Wii nunchuck. I don't know how rare that is. I don't actually have one, so I'm not sure. I have like all the other colors though. And over here they have like cameras and stuff. They usually have more in that pile, but they didn't this time. And they have, sometimes they have like those little leapfrog, like kids games that use cartridges for educational handheld, whatever. And I always check for Game Boy games. One time there was a Game Boy Advance game in there, so I don't know. Like, you always check for Game Boy Advance. And over here, they actually started putting some electronic stuff over here, but it's not like, it's more like overstock, like really big electronic stuff that doesn't fit anywhere. Like this Discovery Channel VR headset. And there's also a straps you can put on your cell phone when you're running. And here's Hagrid. Yeah, we got Hagrid plushie. This is actually a Funko Pop plushie made by Funko, but I'm not the biggest into Harry Potter, and Hagrid's probably my favorite character in Harry Potter, but I still don't want to get him. And there was a Guitar Hero controller for the Wii, which is actually, I've heard, is going up in value. Those Guitar Hero 3 controllers for the Wii are getting pretty popular, so if you see this, go out and get it now. Because I didn't get it, I already have a couple of them. Have you ever seen that movie, The World's Greatest Dad, with Robin Williams? I don't know, I saw that little World's Best Dad trophy, and I just had to show you it. Here's a toy. It's Wonder Woman, and then it's Batman. It's Wonder Woman, Batman. I guess they're having like a cell phone chat. I don't really know. Skyping it up. And then, so now we're in the toy section, of course. And on this wall, it's a whole bunch of loose action figures usually, or like cars and just stuff. Just lots of toy stuff. And on the wall, directly behind it, as you might see soon, there is a whole bunch of plushies and stuffed animal stuff. And this thing that I'm holding right now is actually from the movie Rogue One. When you're at the movie theater, you can pre-order, or you can order like a big popcorn special bowl. That's what that was. In that popcorn bowl, shaped like a Death Star for Rogue One, they were selling it for like, I think it was $3 or $4. It shows on camera. And that's a lot. That's like how much as it would cost if you bought it at the theater. And I don't know, it's just weird they're selling that. And it's not even complete. I have that popcorn dish already, so I didn't get it. There's a Pokemon Emerald strategy guide, really cool. That's actually something I might have wanted to get, the Pokemon Emerald strategy guide, but I actually forgot about it until I looked at this video. Here's a really creepy Leonardo toy. I think he's supposed to squirt water from his mouth, but that's just weird. And here's a Star Wars toy. I actually have a few of these, but I don't have the Tusken Raider. Here's the Tusken Raider. It was $8, and I wasn't so sure I wanted a Tusken Raider at this point. But I do have a lot of those tall Star Wars toys. I have a Luke Skywalker. I got a Finn. I don't know. I've got a couple. I think I have Rey and Kylo Ren as well. Here is one of those Taco Bell, old school Taco Bell kids meal, when they had kids meals at Taco Bell. I don't think they have those anymore. Of when they had the Star Wars Episode 1 promotion for Phantom Menace. They had some Star Wars like planets in the kids meal. You open them up and then the figures move around inside. Also, there was an Anakin cup thing. Also around the time of Phantom Menace. It's like Anakin when he's pod racing, but you put it on the top of like a cup. I don't know where that was from, but I remember seeing it at the mall when I was a kid. There's also a Darth Maul one in that same series. And now we're looking at the puzzles. The puzzle wall, board game wall. It starts out with puzzles, and then the further down you go, it goes to board games. And I've got some really cool board games here in the past, such as a Star Trek one. I've also got some Star Wars board games, which I've actually reviewed on my channel. I've also got... I don't know if you've heard of Atmosphere. It's a horror board game with VHS tapes. I got that here one time. Nothing really exciting this time. Just some puzzles that are really small piece amount puzzles. That was a Shrek 2 game, I guess. Here's some Star Wars stickers. And I thought this was funny that behind Star Wars stickers, a movie which was, in a way, as a metaphor against... the George Bush administration. Look what's behind these Star Wars stickers. We'll see that. Oh, it's George W. Bush. There he is. And then we got this Batman game, but it didn't really look that exciting to me. Batman matching game. I don't know. And here's something that's kind of neat. This looks like, I don't know, it's just a shelf to some people, but it looked to me like an arcade cabinet. Or like it could be modified to make your own home arcade cabinet. So I thought that was a really cool shelf. That's why I showed that. Here we're back at the books section. And there's the books. This is the first thing that I'm going to buy. It's the Halo novels. Adds to the lore of the Halo series and some backstory to the video games. So we found one Halo book and we found another Halo book. So we got the Fall of Reach. Yeah, we'll check those out at the end of this video as well too. Alright, so now I found something coming up real fast on camera, and this is something that I just noticed on my last walkthrough of the store of Goodwill. It is some Snoke from Star Wars The Last Jedi Funko Pop figures. Yes, there's a whole bunch of Snokes. This kind of confirms the failure of the Last Jedi toy line and some of the Star Wars toys that started to drop in price, or they went all in the clearance bins during the post-release of the movie Star Wars The Last Jedi. So after it hit theaters, it was very divisive. People weren't really sure if they liked it, or people didn't like it. Some people liked it, some people didn't like it a lot, and they really had strong opinions about that movie, The Last Jedi. So a lot of the Star Wars figures that were released around that time went into clearance bins, and I never really saw that where I live. There isn't too many stores that sell new Star Wars toys, so I never really noticed that clearance bin Star Wars stuff until today, actually. So I did actually end up buying one Snoke Funko Pop. It was $3.99, not too bad for a Funko Pop. And I like Star Wars a lot, don't like Snoke too much, but I ended up buying it. I figured if I got it, I could at least trade it for someone else's Funko Pop, maybe, and have something else in my Funko Pop collection, at least. We also checked out a store in Astoria, Oregon, that is called Malternative. I've been there a few times. It's been a while since I've been there, though. I used to go there quite often, but I haven't been there in a while. So I went there looking for retro video games. I used to go there and buy vinyl records and CDs, and even a cassette tape at one point. But they do have a lot of movies, games, music, musical instruments. I bought some harmonicas there at one point. And they also are kind of like a pawn shop, but not really. They buy, sell, trade, but they're not really a pawn shop. So now we're over at the Malternative store in Astoria, Oregon. This store I've been to many times before, but not too much recently. So we're just looking through some stuff. There's some vinyl records, a lot of CDs, a lot of cassettes at some point. There's some movies in the center aisle. There's a lot of neat stuff here. But we're mostly focusing on video games during this visit. So here's their GameCube games. Now, I've actually bought some Xbox games from them last month. I bought Ninja Gaiden on the Xbox, and I also bought a 2-pack that came with Sega GT and Jet Set Radio. But I'm looking through their GameCube games, which they had on a separate rack. Not too much interesting stuff, mostly sports games. They had Casper and Cars video games for GameCube. These games down here, a couple of them I think are PlayStation 1, but most of them are PC games, and they have some bigger box PC games on the bottom. Didn't really want to get any PC games from this store, you know what I mean? Sometimes I need CD keys and stuff like that, but most of them you can just download now, and I like to download my games on PC now. Here is where they have cassette tapes for a decent price, and they also have, on this shelf next to it, Xbox and PlayStation 2 games. And a lot of these Xbox games I already looked over like last month, and I didn't see anything new, so there was no changes from last month as far as I could tell. So I looked through some of the games. Metal Gear Solid 2, I already have that. Some interesting games, I don't even know what that game is, but some kind of brawler, maybe. Some other games. They did have Ninja Gaiden Black, which is the second version of Ninja Gaiden on the Xbox. There's a game called Dragon Rage for the PS2. Never heard of that one. Looked kind of cool. And then I went over to the front and the bargain bin, $2 bargain bin, and they had Medal of Honor Frontline for GameCube and Power Rangers Dino Thunder for GameCube, which I was really close to buying. I was so close to buying, but I wanted to bundle it with something else. I didn't want to just buy those two games. I already have Medal of Honor Frontline as well, but it would be kind of cool to have that Power Rangers game for GameCube, even though it's loose, for $2. Now here's some pictures of their game shelf, or their game case, where they have NES games and stuff. Most of them are ones that I already had, or they're sports games, or just games that I didn't find too interesting. There was that one game, that gold game on the very bottom left. That was the closest one that I almost wanted to buy. It's a 4-in-1 game. I believe it's by the people that, like, Codemasters, maybe? They made the Game Genie. I think it's one of those games. So, like the Aladdin Deck Enhancer kind of games, but it's not actually for the Deck Enhancer Aladdin. It's actually just a 4-in-1 pack for the NES with a slightly different cart. And that looked kind of interesting. So, in the future, we might go back and get that one. But for now, nothing at this store. Alright everybody, that was it for my first video of game hunting, toy hunting, collectible hunting. I'm not sure what I'm going to title this yet. Sometimes it takes a little bit of editing of the video for me to really get a sense of what I want to call it in the title. But in this video, as we saw, I didn't come home with the most exciting stuff that I've ever gotten. If you want to see some more exciting stuff that I got in the past at the same place, check out my Instagram account and scroll down a bit, because you can find my Goodwill pickups throughout the past year or two, because I go there pretty often. I go there at least once a month. And there's some cool stuff there to find every time I go there. Sometimes I go home empty-handed, but sometimes it comes up with some weird things. Like sometimes I'll end up with VHS tapes or some vinyl records that I didn't even expect to get when I go there. I usually go there expecting video games and toys, collectibles. But we did get these awesome Halo books by the author Eric Nyland, both of them. The one is First Strike and the other one is The Fall of Reach. And these are really supposed to be some good books for lore building and story building around the Halo universe. Both these books I don't really know too much about, but The Fall of Reach, I think this is the prequel to the first original Halo game on Xbox. And I don't know about this one, but they're in the same series, same author, and they're all about Halo. So if you want to learn more backstory about Halo, leading into the upcoming release of Halo on Steam, which is going to be awesome. I'm going to get that. That's one of the reasons why I really want to pick these books up. And I don't know if I mentioned it in the video, but I did see these last time I was there at Goodwill, and I was like, oh, I'm going to get those, because I was it was like right before they announced the Halo was coming to Steam, and then I went back and got them in this video. The other thing I got was one of these Snokes. Yeah, they had a lot of Snokes there. It's the Last Jedi toy purge. No one wanted the Last Jedi toys. Well, not no one, but I mean, like, they didn't sell very well. The Last Jedi, I had a lot of mixed opinions, even for myself, as a Star Wars fan. And, like, sometimes I'll watch it and I'll be like, I wish I could just change a little bit of that movie. But, it's, The Last Jedi, what can you say? Supreme Leader Snoke from The Last Jedi appearance, and here he is. Yes, I took my pop out of the box. I'm not one of those people that keeps everything in the box. I keep some of my toys in box. I understand why people do that. But for the Pops, the Star Wars ones are all bobbleheads. So, like, you get that, like, Snoke action there. Like, I'm Snoking. And, while I don't really like Snoke that much as a character, I mean, it is a Star Wars Pop. I mean, it's not the worst Pop I could possibly find, I guess. And he looks like a baby, but, I think the best thing about Snoke is that he's played by Andy Serkis, but I feel like he didn't get enough action scenes in the movie. Like, Andy Serkis is a great actor, but I feel like it was a missed opportunity with Snoke, a major missed opportunity with that character. What even is Snoke? Who is he? We don't know anything about him. He's just some big dude. Big, bald, scarred-up dude. I know he's a little baby bobblehead Snoke. Little baby fetus Snoke. Ugh. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. Stay tuned for more game hunting, toy hunting, collectible hunting videos on Happy Bird Games. And I actually want to announce that I do have another one planned. It's not so much game hunting and collectible hunting, but I did go to an arcade, so we're going to have an arcade video coming up. And I've done arcade videos in the past, too. This is a different arcade, so it's going to be really cool. And that's coming up pretty soon on Happy Bird Games. Alright, guys, thanks for watching. Stay tuned to Happy Bird Games for more classic gaming goodness. Please be sure to subscribe today if you have not. Leave me a like. Check the bell if you're subscribing, I don't know, and you missed the bell. Anyways, leave me a comment, let me know what you think, and stay tuned to my social media accounts on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook page, and YouTube, of course. Alright, guys, bye!